It's game time, we ain't playing with you. It's game time, it's game time, we ain't playing with you. That's how we ball for y'all.
What up, what up, what up, what up? You were rocking with Do Wop. Yo, thanks for joining for episode 71. Round of applause. All right, man. All right. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's enjoying. Actually, no, they're not enjoying because it's actually going crazy, man. Let's go right into it. Yeah. So everybody been paying attention to what's going on in LA right now. ICE is on a rampage out there trying to just snatch up people for 3,000 migrants out there. Um, the places that they're actually targeting is crazy. You know, um, they're doing raids in Home Depot. It was talk about they went to elementary school and the middle school graduation. People had to run. You know, in these certain times, it's tough for families and things like that. And if you voted for Trump, and he did say was gonna go ahead and do mass deportation. I feel like you give them an inch, they're taking a mile. First they're supposed to target on criminals. People who actually did certain things to people, and and didn't actually have a reason to bring them back to their country. But it got nasty. It started getting nasty out there. They start snatching up anybody. It looked like. It was just if you didn't have your papers, uh, you was about to be deported. And I don't know if everybody voted for that. I don't know if that was part of the agreement where everybody was really in the stands for that part. Them separating their families right on the spot. 'Cause I'm sure, like all the people that they were the ISIS was trying to gather up, I'm sure they weren't criminals. But the people, they had some people protest in a manner where safety, doing the right thing. And then you had people just terrorizing the city. That's times when they should be coming together. But some people take that at time to, loot, uh, raid stores, throw cops, fight the cops, throw rocks on their police vehicles. They stop traffic, burn cars. It just they just started doing chaos. And that type of thing is going to be looked bad in the public eye of the news to the point where Trump thought, hey, you guys want to act like this? I'm going to send the National Guards there. And we don't want none of the National Guards because they don't play. They come from a different source when they're trying to come out there and enforce law. So LA was on a curfew. They did put a curfew on LA, because things were going out so crazy. Um, but we don't want that to affect and that be a domino effect for other cities. And we don't want them to enforce martial law. That's one thing that everybody definitely don't want. Um, you know, it's tough. It's tough because ICE is there to do their job, but it's a manner how you do the job. I guess they just didn't care. Or is that what the country is leading to? That's what they want. All immigrants out of the country. Don't matter if you've been there 10 years, 5 years, been here paying taxes and working and, and helping out the country. That's what you kind of want to focus on. You don't want to give them any leeway. You just want everybody out the country. Uh, I don't, I definitely don't agree with that. Don't agree with that. It's a certain way you got to go about it, and I think the way they're doing it is nasty. It's very nasty. When you start separating people from their families, and just broad daylight, you just snatching up people, and the people just running, like that's just crazy. And then the other crazy thing I heard is they was talking about Trump was talking about some like game show. You know, he wanted to try to maybe do like a game show of the person who and the person who wins in the game show they get the sentences. So it's like now it's a game to people. You know, you're playing with people's lives and freedoms, and you want to use that as a game. Yeah, that's not cool either. That's not cool either. You know, but I know not to go out to Florida. You know, don't mess around with Florida because that sheriff was not playing. You know, he was not playing. You know, I played good. We was
orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street.
run over.
If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail.
Hospital jail.
If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get
Hit one
bitten
of
by
them?
one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have
Fighting
here.
by the dogs, old school.
If you throw
you
a
know?
brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at,
Body
because
bag.
we will kill you graveyard
He
dead.
told you gonna kill you
We're not gonna
graveyard
play.
dead.
This
That's
has got to
crazy.
stop. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing
He said
police officers
graveyard dead. You know, they
that are
ain't
being
playing with you.
attacked,
They're
being
not
spit
playing.
on, being put in
You know,
harm's way just for doing their jobs. You're seeing ICE agents that are being targeted for doing their jobs. And you're seeing obstructionists that are doing all of this, standing in the way of law and order.
Yeah,
Not here, not in the state of Florida.
he's just
So,
telling
to
you.
make it real simple,
He's telling you.
if
He's letting you know. You know. So, you know, we don't want a domino effect on that. You know, but hey, you have your right. You know your right. You have the right to protest, and that's what you got to do. You got to do it peacefully. But you know, it got to be other things. But you know, hey, you got to get out. You know what I mean? The ISIS is there. You know where they at, where they coming from, how they coming. You know, protect yourself, protect your family, and then protest how you could, and just do it safely, and then don't terrorize the city. You know, don't always terrorize your own city. That's what I gotta say. But yeah, everybody's gonna be paying attention to that and see what kind of effect comes out of that. Hope the best. Hope the best for everybody. Oh man, so let's get another topic. You know, the Diddy trial. You know, the Diddy trial that's still going on. You know, now I can see why 50 Cent is so mad. You know, or just want Diddy under the table when it comes to that because his baby mama was one of the you know the person who's testified, Daffy. Uh, man, all that stuff that was going on, she just kept going. She just kept talking about all the freak offs and she was a part of this, part of that. So, uh, I mean, it looked like they paid her to do all this freaky stuff. So he's paying. You know, I don't know if that's where that's against the law or how that interferes and taking trips and this and that. But I don't see the sex trafficking. The sex trafficking is not there yet. You know, they still gotta prove these cases. But it's just all freak shit. It's all freaky, freaky shit going on, man. It's all freaky shit. And you got Kanye West going out there to support. You know, he tried to get into the courtroom in the main courtroom. He entered it, but he was denied. He said he like tried to get the main courtroom. He stayed there for probably like maybe 10 to 20 minutes, whatever. But then he had left. So they kind of like told him to leave, or he kicked him out somehow, some way. Um, they also now they said the judges, you know, trying to dismiss a juror, because they said he's inconsistent with his questioning. So they felt like he might be, I wouldn't say tainted or just not trustworthy. So they're thinking about getting rid of him. So case is still going on. What is it, like 27 days now? It's still going on. And we're gonna see who else is gonna testify, or they feel because they was trying to get a mistrial multiple times, but they kept denying it. I think it's like the third time they tried try to get a mistrial. They, you know, judge denied that. So they're just trying to, they want to fight this out and get this over with, and see what they're gonna happen. So, it's tough. It's still tough. Case going on, and they still got a lot of explaining to do. Got a lot of explaining to do because there's more. I feel like there's more still coming. And it's still gonna be a damn near circus. But we'll see. We'll see what the outcome gonna be. You Um, this week I did see the BET Awards. They did celebrate 25 years. The BET Awards. Some good performance was going on. They had some throwback from the 106 in Park. Yeah, the 106 in Park cast. If you kind of grew up off that, to introduce that to the kids that growing up with kind of 106 in Park. You know, I would like them to try to do a reboot, but they're trying to do a sports thing. So we'll see how that works. See how they kind of just interfere with music with sports and sing, see how that kind of mix or how they kind of bring that together with the new generation that's coming up. But they were celebrating some some legends, some icons. They gave icon awards out. Snoop got an icon award. Snoop still, is in the public eye, still doing 101 things. So it's well overdue. Dr. Dre gave him that award. Jamie Foxx got his icon award too. Stevie Wonder, that was just hilarious, kind of little the comedy with them too, and how Stevie was kind of saying he could see a lot. It was like I see this, see that. So he kind of was making fun of that. And that's good, because everybody would say, Stevie Wonder could see. Don't act like Stevie Wonder can't see. Stevie Wonder could see. But he was handing them his award and things like that. Jamie still, he talked about his story. I talked about his show on Netflix. So that he got over the coma and things like that. So he kind of went reintroduce that kind of that story to everybody again, and just be in front of everybody, and then kind of just celebrated him, just doing a tribute. Babyface was on there, did a good job. What else stuck out to me? Mariah Carey, she got her icon award. I was surprised to see her there. She was like, "Oh, that's her first BET award." Even just but playing her, they was playing her hits all throughout the weekend, and kind of listening to her music, just getting her reintroduced of who Mariah Carey is and how great an artist she is still, because she just dropped a new song. Um, and then you took it to church, Kurt Franklin, he got an award too. So, um, it's still good, that type of culture. BET, always that's what who's gonna celebrate the people like the people who champion for. It's always good to watch BET Awards, and then catch up and see who they have performance, um, and see if they try to bring some type of it's a different day and age. 'Cause they even had Kai Cenat. Kai Cenat is very big streaming, so he streamed the whole event. Kevin Hart, he hosted it. The whole BET, he was funny throughout that too. But um, so they kind of just try to mix both worlds, the streaming and then also, because people now don't even they don't watch TV too much like that, So if you could watch it, you just gotta catch it on a certain time when it's promoted, But if you stream it, that's gonna be a different type of wave going on now. Maybe the wars and things like that. So we'll see how that goes. See how that interacts. Surprisingly, also Kendrick Lamar was there. That was another uh surprise of the night. Because Kendrick, I think, he said he has been there in a while. To the BET Awards, so he got an award. So he popped out over there. Says it was with him. Because they was surprised. I was like, oh, I thought they was like on tour, but I guess maybe they was in LA, whatever, because that's where everything was at. So that was interesting to see them at that event. But it wasn't too much of like the classic old school. It was kind of just switching, going back in time of celebrating the teenager years if you was in 106 Park. that type of atmosphere. Those type of artists. Because Bow Wow he performed, Shanti performed. So there's like some artists that you Emma Marie. Like some artists that was big on 106 and Park on when they was playing their videos back to back. B2K they performed. So I think it was a blast from the past if you was in that teenage years when watching 106 and Park. But BT, well, that's the button who to do it. BT is definitely the people to do it and celebrate the culture. So that was good watching that. That was good watching that. Let's get some new music. Let's get some new music. Yeah, I see Chris Brown back at it again. Chris Brown just dropped a new track called Holy Blind Fold. It's already going crazy on TikTok. They already got a dance for that. So I was like, oh, there's no time for that one. It's very catchy. It's very catchy. It's a very catchy tune. It's different, you know. See, like a movie type of thing. You already got the dance going, but so definitely R&B. Like to see him kind of perform. He's on tour. He's doing his thing. Got caught up in a little couple of trouble, but he's out. Should be doing his thing on the tour. Definitely check out for Chris Brown, and his new single. And then do the dance. They already got the dance going. It's already dance popping already on TikTok. So, uh, who else I seen? I seen in the OVO camp, Smiley. Smiley dropped a new album project called "Don't Box Me In." Surprisingly, I was like, "Oh, Drake's on the record." Probably had that record for him, but that was a good. He was dropped the record in the video. So I like how when Drake comes out and support his artists too. Dropped a record called Tumazi. Um, I think their collaboration is for the Toronto Six. They got their own language, their own way they kind of just collaborate. Um, so I guess they have fun with that record, because that's that kind of vibe that the two be on. The way they talk and the language and this and that. So it's looking like a fun record for them too. So it's a good look for Smiley. When I listened to a couple of tracks on the album, I liked the Trap Man. But let me get into
Don't say a word, brother.
But they got their own little lingo.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Some six
don't say a word.
thing. You know what I mean? So it's a good look for them. Look for him. I like the Trap Man featuring YG. Another one I think is a cool record. And then Big Dog with Bacchanal Night. So those are some cool records. So see how that does with Smiley. He's been down with the OVO camp, and he's always been on tour with them. So so put out some music. The other person I checked out was ESTG. He dropped a new album project called My World. Um, he's just a Memphis rapper. Like he just still does what he does. Still have his own way of how he raps and just how he just gives it up to the people. Like to see him always do a track with Young Gotti. They got a track called what is it, Pablo Final Gotti. I thought that was a cool collab. Rock with that. You know, um, they just dropped the album recently, so I couldn't get all into it. But when you get a chance to check out that because that joint look like stuff. It's a tough project, so I'm definitely keep diving, keep listening to that a little bit. Cause I like him when he drops things around the summertime. He got that type of summertime feel where things is just having fun, riding around, whatever, or just going to a party, whatever. Just, I that's kind of his era of his music, you know. So I think those are the kind of records that I just seen recently. So you check out that new music, you know. Um, ooh. Yo, I've been back on the Netflix. I've been back on the Netflix wave. Back on the Netflix wave. Um, the movie that I did check out was Straw. I see people the reaction of Straw on the different social media. When a scene happened at the end. I'm not gonna give it away, but yeah, they was going crazy off that. At first I was like, "Oh, what is this about? What is this movie gonna be about?" But then Tarishi P Henson, I'm terrible with names, but she did a good job. She definitely tapped into the black woman everyday struggle, trying to raise a kid on her own, and unfortunately, when things get so bad in your life, you go through so many challenges in your life. Just driving yourself crazy. So, but that's a good Tyler Perry. It's gonna add another Tyler Perry collection. Then Tiana Taylor, she played the cop. Well, the detective. So that was kind of a little bit new flavor the way they kind of did it. Definitely crazy plot twist in the movie. Some people cried at the end. Because it was emotional. But I like how they kept that story going. Until it got to the end, and then it's just a big twist. So I definitely recommend you check out that Straw. Because that's sometimes you just down to the last straw. That's down to the last straw, and she definitely tapped in where things could go wrong and things could go happen when you have so much pressure going on in life. So definitely check out that on Netflix. You know what I mean? Seeing a little sports, NBA Finals is still going on. It's been quiet out there, but the Pacers and OKC is still in the NBA Finals, and they've been going down to the wire. The Pacers one game first and stole the first game, and then just kept it going. From there, OKC came back. They started playing the way they played a great defense and things like that. So, but now the series is tied. I've been watching it. MVP shot. He showed up for Game 4. He down the last minutes. He finally showed up and brought his team to victory. But it really came down to like just missed foul shots and stupid foul shots. Still stupid fouling at the end of the game. Um, but now it's a tie series. So they are going to go back to OKC. I know the crowd's going to be ready, rocking and rolling, just ready to see, to support them. They're all going to be wearing the same colors because I can see every arena now. They kind of put on the same T-shirt and they just show that togetherness and to try to see who's going to win the NBA Finals. But you know, I think whoever wins the next game in my opinion, probably gonna win the series. Because now it is tied, and this game is more swinging now to OKC because Pacers had a chance to try to up it up, and then go back Monday to try to close it out, but they end up tying it, and now it's back to a tie series, and we're gonna see who's gonna win. See who's gonna win. Uh, I'm just watching. You know what I mean? Just watching. So let the best team duke it out and win it when it comes to that. So check out Game 5, Monday, or check out Game 5. You Let's get into some AI, man. AI, yo, what I seen recently, they have a wireless bionic arm that is capable of working without attach of the arm. That's like it brings you back to the Adams family. When the hands is running around, the hands running around. But now we here. I always talk about the bionic arms that they're already developed and what they want that's helping people. It's actually helping people. You know, so the young teenager, she who has it, she was demonstrated. She like it's a lifesaver to her because now she has the flexibility of just kind of just moving her arms again and playing music and singing and things like that, where she wouldn't have the capability of doing that. But for it to actually to still be able to use while the hand is off of the arm, crazy, crazy, crazy. Um, it's definitely going to be it's going to be helpful in different ways, and then pretty soon it's definitely going to take it to a level where a lot of people are going to be run to the X-Men. You can kind of just build your way up and build a robot, bionic arms, everything now is we definitely in the cyber world, and to see how this thing's gonna affect the world in another keep affecting the world in like 5 to 10 years. How things are going with this AI and just kind of how they're using these type of tools. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see the world how that the next step. Talk about the different videos in AI. Talk about the robots and AI. Taking jobs, and recently Sam he was talking about yes, it's going to change. A lot of things are going to change when it comes to AI. Um, it's going to make the world change. But look at the way the world was like before. It kind of evolved like that. A lot of things change. It's just kind of they say it's going to replace a lot of jobs, but then hopefully it's going to open up other jobs because they're going to need somebody to control these things. So it's going to be it's a new day and age with technology. And that's where everything is heading. That is where everything is heading.
Next year, where you can not only use a system to sort of automate some business processes or build these new products and services, but you can really say, I have this hugely important problem in my business. I will throw a ton of compute at it if you can solve it. And the models will be able to go figure out things that teams of people on their own can't do. And the companies that have gotten experience with these models are well positioned for a world where they can say, okay, AI system, whatever, go like redo my most critical project, and here's a ton of compute, think really hard, just figure out the answer. People who are ready for that, I think, will have another big step change next year. I would bet.
I mean, I still think that's definitely going to be making another person rich in their business because when they're just using these type of software and these things, so it's like OpenAI. They say
And
OpenAI, it's definitely getting smarter, getting intelligent. So he's like gonna be a PhD type of mind frame. It's gonna be one of the smartest things in the world. It's gonna help sort out the business, try to find out different ways to make it grow. It's gonna be a definitely tool that it's gonna be around for a while. Once the people master these things, it's gonna be around forever. Truthfully, it's gonna change the game. Um, and he talks
AI
about
is for sure going
it's
to
gonna come.
change a lot of jobs, totally take some jobs away, create a bunch of new ones. This is like this is what happens with technology. And in fact, I think if you look at the history of the world, like that's just been happening for a long time. The thing I think the world is not ready for, like people have maybe abstractly thought like, okay, it's going to be a better programmer than me. It's going to be, better at customer support and whatever. I don't think the world has really had the humanoid robots moment yet. Like the first day you're like walking down the street and there's like 7 robots that walk past you doing things or whatever, it's going to feel very sci-fi. And I don't think that's very far away from like a visceral, like, oh man, this is going to do a lot of things that people used to do. So yeah, it's coming. And we have always tried to just be super honest about what we think the impact may be, realizing that we'll be wrong on a lot of details.
So when Sam Alton says these things, like I talk about these things. How the humanoid bots are definitely going to be used where it's going to feel like it's going to. That's when the part where it's going to feel sci-fi. When you just walk around the streets and you're going to see a bunch of robots just doing things. If it's like bringing somebody their groceries, or carrying their grocery, or carrying their shopping bags, or just walking with them, exercising. It's going. That's when it's going to be like, oh shit, we here. We really. Yeah. So that's when it's going to feel like oh shit, we really here. Once we see all these humanoid bots running around, but we'll see, man. We'll see how the world's going to react, see how it's going to change, and see how we all going to just adjust. We're all going to adjust it. So bringing me to that, let's get into motivation. Motivation. I need a motivation. So this one says, in order to change, you must be sick and tired being sick and tired. I forgot who line said that. Sick and tired being sick and tired. I forgot somebody said that. I don't know was that Jay or somebody, but that was like a line. But yeah, sometimes you do gotta be sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, just that's definitely a line in a bar. And that's plantorial. You're sick and tired of what things are going on the same way, and you gotta just try to do something different. And hope that you're trying to do something different. It pays off. And it makes something or just changes your mood, changes everything around you. So, that's what I got when I heard that. You know. But that's all I got for everybody today. So make sure you like, subscribe, and then check me out for the next episode. So in the meantime, between times, hey.
I love it. You guys are so great.